So I'll call this meeting to order at 6:02. And I'll do our roll call. Kevin? Here. I'm here. Adam Slingo is not here. Margaret? Here. Kelsey? Here. Anna? Is not here. Carrie? Here. Emily is not here. And Kim? Not here. I would like to welcome our new junior board members, Phoebe McNeil and Nimit Hassan. Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Sure. My name's Phoebe McNeil. I'm a senior at the high school. I'm looking to major in English education, but I just thought this would be a good opportunity with just being involved with the school and the community.
Yeah, so I'm Nimet, and I'm also a senior at the high school. I've always wanted to go into like political science and law, so local government is something I'm very interested in. So yeah, I'm very excited to be here with you all today.
Like one of you has a sport.
Yeah.
If you don't know, this is a game that all the seniors at the high school play. So. Feel what?
It's the game.
It's. You want to explain sports?
Yeah, so basically, like everyone, if you want to play, you're gonna have to like pay $5 for, I think it's like for like the end of like the game, like prize money or something. And like it's kind of like math where if you have two, they cancel out. So like people will like put it in between like a book and hand it to you, and then someone will like come behind you and like spork you with it. And everyone gets a new target every 2 weeks. And like there's like a bunch, there's like pages of rules for it. And
That's crazy.
I think like last year, I think it like lasted until May or something. So yeah, there's like if you get out, there's opportunities to get back in, and like like I think there's like a new thing where if you don't get someone out within like the first like month and a half, you're out automatically. But yeah, it's just like a fun little game we play. So
they've been playing for years. My kid won 1 year.
Oh,
wow. Well, I always claimed that it was because my kid's in a wheelchair, and I'm like, they didn't want to pick on the kid that was And Elle said, yeah, I know, you're right, Mom, but there are some advantages. All parents sports. All parents sports. Yeah. But you always had to have the sport with you, right? No matter where you were.
Yeah. So like sometimes like people like go to each other's like houses and like they'll wait until they wake up. There's like a 1 minute like consciousness rule after you wake up. But like if it's like after the 1 minute, like they can spork you and like
yeah. It's like you can't at doctor's appointments or at work, I think.
Yeah.
It's I got out.
What a fun.
Well.
Can we introduce ourselves?
Yes, let's introduce
ourselves. Talk a little bit about each one of us.
So we'll start with Karen, one of our staff members.
I'm a staff member. My name's Karen. I'm at the PIO with Laura, and I'm just taking notes.
I'm Kelsey. I'm a resident, and I work in nonprofits outside of here.
And I'm Margaret Izzo. I also do nonprofit work, and then I work mostly with mediations at the sport. So if there's perhaps issues that arise between two neighbors, we try to help out and come to the best possible resolution.
Hi, I'm Todd Hoffman. I'm here. I'm a non-voting member. That's why I'm sitting over here. I'm on the school board. So kind of like two of you, kind of bridging the gap between the school and.
I'm Laura Lilly. I'm one of your 2 staff liaisons, and we're here to help you with any questions you have as you go through the year.
I don't know whose phone that is.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh, like in this zone.
Yeah, sorry. I'm Ann Swagger Wilson, and I'm the commissioner for Ward 3. And I'm a big proponent of young women being involved in local government because it affects everything you do. And Emily, right to your left, teaches political science. So, you know, there's 2 people.
Are you the junior commissioner?
Yeah, they're the junior commissioners.
Oh.
Yeah, and
so I had a student that was the junior commissioner. He did very well. And yeah, he said he learned a lot. So
yep, but there are 2 people that you can talk to about our experiences as women in the local government role.
I'm Julia Aquino. I'm the HR manager for the municipality. I've only been in that role for about 10 months because I've replaced an HR manager who retired. I'm also a resident and I'm also a labor and employment lawyer by background.
I'm Noah Evans. I serve as the chair of this board, and I'm for my work, I serve as the rector, the pastor of St. Paul's Episcopal Church on Washington Road. I live on Woodhaven Drive, and my son is Isaiah Irwin Evans, who's a senior.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, are you Isaiah's dad, but I don't want to like.
In certain circles, that's who I am.
I'm Kevin Brand. I'm new to the board here in the last few months. And I've lived here for only 4 years in Mount Lebanon. I'm retired. I used to be in the telecom and internet business, so not politics. There were plenty of politics in the internet.
I'm Terry Tim. I'm part of the Woodhaven gang. There's 3 of us on Woodhaven. So our goal is to get everyone to move to Woodhaven. I serve as a local church pastor, and my work around this committee, I've done a lot of work around police engagement.
And I'm Emily West, and I am a professor at Pitt, and I'm also new to the board in the last few months.
So we have one citizen who's tuned, is that right? Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
Yes.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Great. I see there's one person who logs in. Do they have a?
Hi, thank you. Be unmuted. You will have 5 minutes to address the group.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Lindy Drulia, and I'm a resident at 300 Gilkinson Road, where Timber Creek condominiums are located. I would like to raise a safety concern with the township with the building of the new stairs from the property of 300 Gilkinson that connects to Inglewood Drive. The pedestrian stairs have been closed for the better part of a decade, and as you know, is currently in the process of being rebuilt. So reopening the stairway is said by the township to provide better access from Gilkinson Road to Markham Elementary School in the surrounding neighborhood. I'd like to point out that Gilkinson Road has a sidewalk on its southern side heading east towards the Galleria of Mount Lebanon and Route 19, but not on the side of near Timber Creek where the stairs will be located. A pedestrian crosswalk near Timber Creek once connected both sides of Gilkinson, and it was removed during a State Department of Transportation improvement project. My understanding is that Mount Lebanon did request PennDOT to study to see if that crosswalk could be placed back in, and they were told no. Gilkinson has a 35-mile-per-hour speed limit, but cars speed through that stretch of Gilkinson heading west towards Painter's Run and Cedar Boulevard. There have been numerous accidents at that Timber Creek and Old Gilkinson entrance of Gilkinson. And now that the steps are being built and there's no sidewalk on the side of Gilkinson to access the stairs, and with PennDOT saying no to a pedestrian crosswalk on a heavily traveled Gilkinson, what does the Township Transportation Advisory Board have in mind for the safety of those pedestrians, mainly the children that would be crossing that road at the Timber Creek entrance to access the newly built stairs? Thank you.
Lindy, this is Commissioner Swagger Wilson. You want to bring this issue to the Mobility Board. This is the Civic Engagement Board, but one thing I do want to let you know is that the commission approved plans for townhomes that were going to go in Gilkinson, and they will be putting in a sidewalk on that side of Gilkinson.
Okay,
To my knowledge, my knowledge, we have not requested a crosswalk at all at this point. I mean, since that happened, but that's the mobility board are the people that you want, and they're meeting right now.
Okay, well, I guess I logged into the wrong meeting and said.
Yeah, that's okay. If you go back to the homepage of the website and you
Okay.
scroll down to the calendar, that meeting should have a link right on it for you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you for giving us the information about Old Gilkinson, because I looked for the meeting minutes on that so that we could see what that determination was.
Right.
So about a sidewalk being built. So I will exit now. Before letting you have a conversation. Thank you.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, I saw that. You checked that out.
Sidewalks are a big issue, in case you were curious. They're
Well, I was
huge.
getting ready to be like, is this gonna be a neighborhood mediation?
Yeah.
So we let it go.
Okay, I don't have anything to report except for, I watched the commission discussion session that Emily presented at, and there was a positive result, and I look forward to us talking about that more. So thank you for all the work that you and Kevin and the support. It's great.
And was like, this is happening. People were like, okay.
It's touch before the meeting, absolutely. But I did finally, after like 3 weeks, somebody called me back.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I was.
Nice, like detailed information on your voice.
So she did leave a message and she said, oh, I just got your message. I'm like, 3 weeks later, good system. And said, so give me a call back and I can discuss it with you. Oh, wait, I'm gonna be out of the office for a while. You can try me, but if you don't get me, you can send an email.
I sent emails.
So I didn't know, you sent one already, so I didn't.
No, I
you
mean,
sent
I
like
never heard back from my emails,
info
so
ad or welcome or membership.
whatever the
membership.
general, yeah, what, I don't know what it
Well, let's
was.
do it after the meeting, just so we don't.
Yeah, maybe we can
coordinate.
email the
Try
other.
email and
Yeah,
see.
okay,
She
good.
didn't answer when I called.
Okay, so there are people at
There are
this
people.
organization.
Hopefully call you back within a month.
Mission liaison, me?
Yep.
Okay, so, yes, that was a well-received welcoming certified welcoming designation, so we're gonna go ahead and plow forward with that. And what that brought up was that came out of the report from the DEI committee that had been done before my time, so we're going back 3 years, I guess, about. And one of the other commissioners requested that we have an update on what we had accomplished from that DEI report, what remained, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, let's have the committee take a look at that, because it would be nice, and I have all the lists that I'm gonna send via email to you tomorrow, that has what the report said everybody wanted, and then how it got distilled down to what the priorities were, so that you can look at it and say, we don't need this, or we need that, or, and here are our priorities. Let me give you an example. One of the groups wanted to do more programming to make people welcome, and they wanted to focus intentionally on other groups that weren't necessarily as well represented in Mount Lebanon. Love the goal. They had an event every month, and we don't have staff capacity to do an event every month. So I need you to be looking at it and thinking along the lines of, here are the things that are really important. Here are the things we can build to. Here are things that maybe we don't think are so important. That's also a valid response. And I will send them to you. I don't know if you want to do a subcommittee or how you want to do it.
Okay, so here, so I heard all that when I watched the meeting.
Yeah.
And I was confused because there had been a number of iterations of, we had lists, paring down the lists, municipal staff doing just municipal staff just implementing some of them because they were like
right.
low.
Yeah, hanging fruit.
And then like us getting pared down lists, that was sort of unclear how that.
You're gonna get
progressed.
three lists, and Laura may have to help me. three lists. One of them was everything, not
Yeah.
everything that came
Yeah.
out, but what came out of the main
Yeah.
things. And then there's a list where it shows what staff has already done. Remember what the third list
That,
is?
well, there's, yes, so then there's a list that has, community relations board responsibilities and then staff responsibilities. That is actually in your SharePoint. That one has been in your SharePoint, in addition to all of the original DEI presentations are in there as well. So it'll be more succinct, because what you're talking about is on the spreadsheet.
Okay.
Okay,
But if you want to see what the commission actually approved, that memo is in the SharePoint, and the top part lists community relations board and the bottom part lists staff stuff. Then there's some slides that I gave a presentation. That's what had already been done.
Yeah.
It's really long and winded.
Yeah.
So,
And so, I mean, I remember that presentation
Mhm.
too. I mean, I don't remember the details of it. I remember seeing the presentation.
Yeah.
So like, but that's all helpful information. And then we were sort of given a new charge with
Yes.
this board.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so we're supposed to now like go back to the previous charge? I guess I was annoyed.
I love direct people.
So I was like, so do you want us to like rewind history?
No.
Like,
No, I think, you know, it was the kind of thing where Emily went through and
Yeah,
saw something that was easy and fit within what
Yeah.
your new charge is.
Yeah,
And I think that's what we're mostly looking
Okay.
for, is what do you see that fits within your new charge that you think
okay.
is worth saving? For example, all the work you've been doing with the police, that's, you know, really valuable and really helpful. And a lot of that came out of DEI, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, but I'm.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm tracking with Noah, because we
Mhm.
had this big list.
I know.
And then the commission pared that down, said focus on this, and now I'm hearing open it back up.
I think they were responding to this board and Emily's request to go back and pick up something that wasn't necessarily recommended. So I think they were trying to appease you instead of saying, well, we said we didn't want this. They said, if that's something that this board is interested in, go ahead.
And don't forget commissions change,
Right.
new people.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
So
so,
it didn't sound like they were trying to appease
No.
you, but that's what they were trying to do. So.
and I gave it to the committee. At one point it became, well, let's let the staff do that. And I'm like, no, this was committee work. I think that I only feel comfortable if the committee gets to look at it and say, you know, here are the
Yeah.
things we really want.
Can I ask a point of clarification?
Sure.
The previous DEI report, which I know some of you were involved with, was before the Ascend Lebo plan,
Mhm.
correct?
Mhm.
So one lens we could take is
Mhm.
kind of having those things be side by side and thinking about what is staff capacity, but also what now fits with Ascend Lebo, since everything else that we do is being guided by that, my
Exactly.
understanding.
That's perfect. Perfectly well said. You should run for commissioner. I'll get you my seat.
Well, just to clarify, was there something specific that Emily said other than welcoming community? There was something that prompted this?
It was that's where I found it.
Yeah,
Oh,
she just
okay.
said that's
All
where
right.
she found it. and
Okay,
then
all right.
One of the commissioners said, wow, you know, I mean, we should go back and look at this and that, and emails flew around and.
And that's probably my fault, because I dumped all those documents into your SharePoint, wanting you to have a historic thing, but I probably should have given you a flow chart instead of just saying, here's the history.
I didn't get it from a list. I got it from a slide deck. I know that.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a slide.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was something that easily passed, I thought.
Right. Well, so we can have our subcommittee then just meet again, you know, and we can always take another look, and, you know, everybody else, of course, is welcome to. And,
Yeah.
since we already have that subcommittee in place.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
okay.
And I'm happy to meet too with you
Okay.
on that if you want, because
Yeah.
that could perhaps help you with.
I think that'd be really helpful, because then we're not going over things and coming up with ideas, but then it's already been discussed that, you know,
Right.
what
Yeah.
staff has done or
Yeah.
can't do, et cetera. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so we'll, I guess
And do
the
you
five of
count-
us will
do
coordinate.
you count as if we meet, do you count as, you don't count as you don't push us over, great.
Mm-mm. No, I'm non-voting.
Yeah, great.
So yeah, no, I don't.
Okay.
But I could just drop by by mistake too.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't say that in a public meeting. So, other than that, we're getting ready for budget time, which begins in November. We just got all the budget workshop dates. Those are 3-hour meetings on Wednesday nights in November. you're all more than welcome to come.
No, they're
to
not,
them.
because they're gonna be in here.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, so 2 of the meetings are
Oh.
your meeting dates. So, I mean,
Oh.
you're actually welcome to come over after the meeting, but, so your meeting will still be in here on Wednesday, because that meeting will be going
Okay.
on there. So you and I will be
Over there, and
but
you'll be
we'll-
here.
Yeah, we'll figure it all out, so.
But I will tell you when it looks like when you're scheduled for, because Adam wanted to request the survey, thank you. Word's not coming to me tonight, and so we'll let you know when that is going to be. So you can
Well, and
hear.
that's gonna be part of my presentation, and I asked not to be scheduled over there to present during this meeting, so.
Good.
Great.
Yeah. I'm so glad somebody's organized.
So can you get us the date when that's
Yeah.
presented?
Mhm.
Yeah, so.
Yes. I sure can. And that's it. I really don't have anything else unless anybody has a question. Sidewalks are going in on Woodland. Got it. Sewers, lots of sewers. We talk about sewers incessantly. If anybody wants to know about sewers, it's a big, big subject. Because we're under a consent order from the federal government to clean up our sewers, which were leaking pollutants into the water system. As are all of the sewers everywhere because they're so old. So we've been lining our sewers and correcting them for a lot of money, but it's getting done. Yeah, all important stuff. Yeah, okay. You guys are easy.
So thank you, Kelsey, for mentioning Assemblibo, because I wanted to share with you all, and you'll be getting a presentation of this by Ian later in October. After Assemblibo was completed, one of the things that it said is we should be better about communicating progress on goals. So under the direction of Ian McMeans, my office as well as IT and our consultant for the website put together a community dashboard where all of the metrics will be measured. So when we talk about kind of what your charge is, it falls under the engagement. So the landing page just gives.
Exactly.
That's the first thing I
Most
said.
important.
So there's just some expository information and links to the full plan, which you all have a million different times. But then each section has a completion percentage on here. And then if you click under it, and there's a link from the Civic Engagement Board page to these metrics as well. Where each of the goals is listed along with its action items and the percentage complete and where the status is with each individual thing.
Who decides what the percentage complete is? Who decides what percent complete?
Ian. Some of it's very easy. One of it is adopt a new slogan. We have a new slogan. So,
It was very
and some of,
precise, 56%.
and well, because it's averaging all of the things together. So some of these things are ongoing, correct? So one of them is, get more diverse information into the magazine. That's never going to be done. So that is going to go down as an ongoing thing. And then there will be other things that will be decided against. And I'll give you an example. One of the things that the consultant said we should consider is putting sirens on top of the building so that people are not relying on digital communications for emergencies. Well, that technology is over. Those sirens are not, they're not able to be maintained or updated. The infrastructure is old. So while they certainly did consider it, our emergency management said that's not something that we're going to be doing. So we haven't figured out a way to go in and mark those things. So those things are still listed as not started, because technically they haven't started them. So
I mean, that should be considered complete because you looked at it, it was a bad idea, so you said so.
well, we didn't want to give the impression that it's done though. So we had to figure out a way to say this was recommended and not. Another one is recommended to have community gardens at the elementary schools. That's something that other places have done, but our schools are not open to the public during the day. So that doesn't work. You're not going to have members of the community going in. So that probably also. So they're very small things. The big things are still under consideration, but this is a nice shortcut for you all to see the progress of each of these things. So anybody have any questions?
This is on
Just
the
click on one of
municipal-
those things.
What's the easiest way to get to this?
The easiest way to get to this, I create a short code of mountlebanon.org/comprehensive plan. But it's also listed under the About Us as the community dashboards, because we all talk about it as a comprehensive plan, but if you grab the average resident off the street, they would be like, just give me a measurement dashboard. That's all I'm looking for.
If you click on that, does it have the sub bullets under it?
So, continue to provide communications that reach all residents of the community regardless of age or technological ability. Not gonna be ever done, ongoing. We conducted a communication study and it wanted us to implement some of those, that's complete. So.
Well, maybe I should know this, but do we have action items against all those things that are in progress, or do we have to go back and check that?
No, there are everything that was in the comp plan has an action item attached to it, so. You already looked at these kind of when you set your goals together, so you've already been through these, but again, this is a plan for the next 10 years, so.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Thanks for doing this.
It's wonderful.
That looks good.
I do too.
Accountability.
Too many plans sit on shelves,
Yeah.
so it's nice to see one where we get to see how far along we are.
I don't have anything to report.
Also, wait, I want to say one thing. You guys won an award too for public engagement on a San Lebo, because we had so many touch points of people going in and looking at the maps and responding to the questions. It really felt much more inclusive than comprehensive plans in the past.
Yeah.
You don't get everybody, but you've got a lot more people than we had from the 10 years earlier.
It was an award of excellence from 3CMA, which is the City County Communications and Marketing Association, for our engagement plan for the comprehensive plan. So there were more than 6,000 pieces of input, including maps. I mean, our contractor went to the homecoming game and grabbed people in the stands and gave them QR codes and asked them questions. For people who weren't digitally aware, we attended the 4th of July, the car show, all the Rock the Block, Artist Market, pretty much every big community event that we had, 4th of July, and just stop people and ask them their opinion, so.
That's wonderful.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well, it was everybody. I mean, it's Ian, it's our office, it was our consultant. I mean, everybody was really pointed in the right direction, but we wouldn't have gotten it if there wouldn't have been so much community feedback. That's the important thing, is that we came out with a plan, and then when the plan came to a public hearing, there was very little negative response to it. So that tells us that the plan that was generated was what.
But the one negative response we got, is everybody ready? I didn't know anything about this. I said, well, it's in the magazine, it's here, it's here, it's here. Well, how many points of, people did you have? And we said 6,000. And this individual actually looked at me and said, I could have done that for my computer 6,000 times. That was their concern.
Please other people all the time.
You can't. Well, no, you have to let things roll off your back. But that was an amazing response. Wow. You don't have enough to do you? Sorry, I shouldn't make fun of people, but it's just amazing.
No, I work in a faith community. I hear things like that all the time.
Yep.
Okay, subcommittee reports, police engagement.
The November 12th meeting is on for faith leaders. Thanks, Laura, for your help of coordinating some logistics and putting an invitation together. And so Noah and I are engaging with clergy and faith leaders. Still, we're rescheduling the coffee with a cop, waiting for a date, right?
Yeah, Jason's October schedule is just crazy, so. And you may also have your social services coordinator at that faith leaders meeting.
Yes.
If she's available, I suggested that she go because
Awesome.
while it's already scheduled, get her there.
Perfect. Good. Thanks. I was gonna give.
Do you have an invitation on you by any chance?
I don't.
Okay, no, I meant to give one to her dad. I'll send him.
How many faith leaders do you think will attend?
No idea.
Okay, but typically everyone is invited and it's just.
Yes.
Okay.
I've spoken to a number who said, oh yeah, I'm gonna attend, but I guess Terry's only received.
We've got one RSVP, one definitive. Came in this afternoon. It's
Hard.
I have an RSVP.
And it feels like it's out there.
Yeah.
Yes,
far
right,
away.
right,
Yeah.
yes.
I suspect we'll have a good turnout.
Yeah.
And where is it located?
It's gonna be at the rec center on Cedar.
Oh, good.
What's the objective?
Objective is to have communication with the chief, to build some collaboration between this department, faith communities, open up dialogue,
can do together or support each other around
Make another in a community where people feel safe and welcome and valued. Give them achievement about his philosophy of policing and open up the space.
And there's a lot of conversations that happen in faith communities about security right now, and being collaborative with police departments.
I mean, their physical locations.
A lot since the tree of life. It's been something that's been very at the top of people's minds. Okay, mediations.
So there were two issues that came up this month, and they were both, ongoing ones, things that had happened previously that resurfaced. And one I feel as though pretty good resolution, the other we're still working on. But a lot of times it's just re-engaging with issues that sometimes repeatedly come up.
I asked Chief Haberman to make sure that the new social services director met with you.
Oh, great, okay.
So that you would have kind of an open dialogue between the two of you, because you may in fact want to refer somebody to her at some point.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
I have her tentatively scheduled to come to this board in November, at your November meeting, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, DEI. We're gonna talk about certified welcoming in just a minute as its own thing, but I guess the next step is we need to go back and look at look at all the old
stuff.
Recommendations.
Who's on the DEI committee? 3, 4. Okay. Okay.
You convened us last time. Can you convene us again?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, community survey, Adam's not here, and then we'll hear more when that's presented to the commission. Residence Academy. Who else has information besides Adam?
I was just a bystander in a conversation with Anna and Adam, because Anna is kind of homebound right now with a injury. She volunteered to help sign people up for the syllabus. So Karen sent her the schedule today. So I guess she and Adam were just gonna work out if it was okay with him if she starts to reach out, because she felt like she wanted to be productive.
Yeah.
So the dates are all set.
Last time you said you were gonna send an email to people on the committee. I thought I had volunteered for that, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. If you have real people, that's fine. If you don't, I'm happy to.
Can you reach out to Adam?
Okay, yeah.
Who I think is sharing that section, so.
Yeah.
Community Service Award.
We have a page reserved since we're starting to work on the December magazine. We'll have the nomination form online and then a page in the December magazine. So we'll collect that through February, and then we'll submit through my office, and we'll submit it to who is ever on the committee. You'll make your choice, and we'll announce that in March.
Let's talk about certified, any other subcommittee. Okay, let's talk about certified welcoming. Do you want to tell us about how you thought the feedback from the commission was?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we got like feedback that is operational at this point. I guess my concern is like what we're gonna do between now and the fall when we can actually do something with the certified welcoming, like if once we get money to like join the network.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we can have a side conversation about this later, but it feels like if we could get somebody to talk to us, hopefully if we send it to this membership and somebody from membership committee to talk to us, we get like a little better idea of how deep we have to go in each one of those categories. And then maybe we can start doing stuff once we understand that, but.
Yeah, I think it'd be
guidance.
worthwhile to like bare bones just like gather data and information to get ready to like put together our report. Yeah.
So one of us should be now happy to do it, because again, I'm not working, but
Yeah, I mean, I sent 2 emails, I didn't get any response, so let's like look at who we've emailed and.
Yes, yeah, let me know
Someone
email,
else.
they come either membership at whatever their URL is or domain is, or info.
Yeah, but I think my main thing is that we don't lose steam on it, given that we actually can't join the academy that like teaches us all about the nuts and bolts of what the report has to say until the fall.
Unless, there's some exception to that. So, okay, well, if you just tell me who you emailed, and
Yeah.
we can try and go after them again, or I could keep.
Yeah, I had made a Google spreadsheet that I can just put into SharePoint, although I still can't get in. I don't know why, it like worked one day and didn't work the next. But I'll just like translate it into SharePoint and then we can all just dump information as we get it into the same place.
And did you get a chance to talk to the Dormont folks?
Not yet, no.
So that would be helpful too, when we get that,
yes.
so we can see what they did.
Yeah.
That'll give us some idea of how deep we have to go.
Reminder in.
But yeah, I think the only like pushback was more like a rhetorical exercise, let's say, in like why we needed this infrastructure versus like our ability to do this essentially on our own. Obviously, we wouldn't get like a sticker or like, like a certification that we could advertise, but I think the discussion just ended with it doesn't require much resource to get the like infrastructure that the organization is offering, so that we don't actually have to build our own infrastructure on like how to accomplish these goals.
So, so the $500 it's in a budget proposal now? Is that the form?
Unassigned funds conversation will happen in November, where the
Okay.
commission will look at unanticipated revenue that they have, and then they'll budget that out for that. So that was what was mentioned at the meeting as the source of this fund. So you would not have to wait for the 2024 budget.
Okay.
Not at all.
So that means we can join and we'll probably get a little bit more access to begin that.
Yeah.
To begin that
Yeah.
work.
I think that'd be helpful, so they don't call you back like a month later and say,
I heard they call you back in 3 weeks instead.
So I think, so as just, when DEI committee meets, we can talk about it, but then we might want to make this its own subcommittee so that more people can work on it.
Yeah.
And sort of begin that process of data collection. Because my hunch is we're gonna find a couple things there that are not just data collection. That's gonna be a little bit more work.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, so if you want that to be a subcommittee, you'll just need to vote for it, and we add it to the agenda.
You wanna vote for it now?
Did they tell you what Robert's rules of order are?
No.
That's what we're doing when we like say, put forward a motion and then.
Robert's Rules of Order, the book is actually this thick,
Yeah.
believe it or not, for those of us that have dealt with not-for-profits, and it lays out the rules for how you get things done in meetings. The other layer for us is that we're the government, so we have a set of rules that not-for-profits don't necessarily have to follow, like the Sunshine Law, which means we have to advertise all our meetings so that anyone can attend them and see what's going on.
That's why there's this limit to how many people you can have in any meeting.
Right.
But you guys aren't voting members, so you know what? You can join any committee you want. It doesn't count against our number of
Right.
people.
Right.
So.
And that was done because there were so many, sorry,
for
political
it,
science. There were so many behind the scenes kind of meetings in the Senate and in Congress where things were getting done, but nobody knew how they got done or who did them. And essentially without what they felt was representation. So sunshine laws came into effect so that I can't go meet with other commissioners and make decisions on things before a meeting. You have to see me making the decision right there at the meeting. Professor, was that correct?
Yeah. I came to a first meeting and people were like, I motion to do this. And it also feels pretty perfunctory usually when we do it, so.
Yeah.
So do we want to establish a new committee, subcommittee now, or do we want to wait, have DEI report out,
recommend it.
Do it now.
I can put a motion to establish a subcommittee for the certified welcoming.
Is there a second?
Second,
Kevin seconds, any discussion?
we should have some.
All in favor?
Uh,
Anyone opposed? Great. Who would like to be on that?
The two people that.
Elsie too, cool.
Elsie, Kevin. Who else?
You by nature of the fact.
Well,
that you're
oh
the
yeah, I'm on
So
that.
there's your four.
We'll start with that, and see
Okay.
what we have, how much info we need, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Great.
All right.
Part of
Anything
Robert's
else?
rules that the chair is a de facto member of every
Every-
committee.
Everything. Be
Um,
careful what you wish for when you make sure.
okay, any other business?
Anything from the school board?
Anything from the school board? I mean, continuing to monitor the budget and be aggressive about maintaining a healthy budget. What else is happening right now? We just had 2 meetings this month. We are going through a process of, we had an RFP for a new solicitor. That work is underway. We've had the district has had the same solicitor for about 30 years.
Wow.
And he's retiring come December, so it was an opportunity to see what other opportunities or firms are out there to provide those services. The solicitor is a key part of the district's operations, so it's a very important decision. So that's underway right now. And
I think I'll tell them about the issue on Washington Road, just so they're
Yeah.
informed. So, we have a group of people who call themselves MAGA warriors who have been out on Washington Road.
Is this the guy on the bike with the colonial?
Yeah, I saw him when I was driving.
See him all the time.
They've kind of been right out in front of 900 Washington Road, which is the apartment building. We've had parents who've been very concerned because these folks have been filming, you know, on their cameras, on their phones, have been filming what's happening in the street, and sometimes get children into the film and then they post it on YouTube. We are unfortunately not able to do anything unless they block the road and or threaten a child, block the sidewalk, something like that. They are allowed to be there as long as they don't obstruct the sidewalk. And the Supreme Court ruled that when you are in the public domain, meaning out on the sidewalk, you can be filmed. They cannot go to the schools and film. So they can't walk onto school property and film the children, but if the children are walking on the sidewalk, they can film them. We've had a lot of concern from parents, the school district, the superintendent and several of the administrators showed up at Washington and Mellon to make sure that the children felt safe when they were let out from school. The police have been down several times just to monitor the situation and make sure that these folks are within their right to do what they're doing, but not blocking children or hurting children or doing anything like that. But it's kind of an ongoing thing. And I have to say that Todd and I were talking about it earlier, and we've both said what these folks seem to want is attention. And so flipping them off or yelling at them or doing this or that just feeds into it. You know, I just drive by them and totally ignore them. I don't even look at them. But we're aware of the situation. We just feel pretty much that our hands are tied as to what we can do unless they step out of line. And then, of course, we do something.
Somebody posted this today on Legal
Yeah.
Complaints that they blocked the road with their flagpole, but I don't know if we have any evidence of that.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
That they put their flagpole down there onto the road.
Oh, well, hopefully that person called 911 and didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legal Complaints today. I mean, their person's names associated.
Difficult job. Please report it to police before you tell everybody else.
Yeah.
And if you watch their videos, it's all about the reaction they get.
That's right. It is. Yeah, I went and looked at it because
Yeah.
I'd gotten a complaint and I was like, well, all that they're posting is people going by and going, you know, this kind of thing at them. So I just decided to ignore them.
Yeah, I mean, I have my daughter on a video, but it's not, to me, it's not,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that I'll, you know, fight about or have opinions about, but to me, ignoring it is the best solution.
Just so you're
But
all
call
aware.
911 if there's danger.
Yeah.
To anybody.
Anytime.
Road
Call
blocking
911
or anybody's
immediately.
touched or.
Yeah, yeah.
Before you post.
Before you post it, please
You
call
might have said
911.
this, but it's, or maybe it was obvious, but they're out there like right at dismissal time.
Yeah.
So that's part of the, you know,
Yeah. What they're doing.
struggle with it.
And people don't need a, like, permit, is that the right word? For demonstration unless they like need a road closed or
Right.
something like that.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the other side has had a couple of rallies, peaceful rallies. It's mainly older women like me holding up signs, you know, going
Sure.
Harris Walls, and not taking pictures of anybody, but both sides have rallied, is the
Yeah,
point. You
but just
can't
as
shut
long as you're
down
not
mine.
blocking the
Yeah,
sidewalk,
don't block
that's.
the
Yeah, because are there the like,
Understanding.
like, because at dismissal, we have the crossing guards, are they like proximate to where they have to cross and they're, okay.
Yeah, in the middle of the block.
Yeah, right in the middle of a block.
And on the other side of the road, I might add. They're on this side of the road.
Now they are.
Yeah.
They have been,
Yes, they were at one point in front of Southminster's parking lot.
which is where I think more people are walking to and from school on that side.
Cause I
So
feel like
think that
it's
was
in the
a bit
crossing guards
disruptive.
purview to be like.
Safety.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, there you have it.
And Todd, at some point, I mean, the certified welcoming has parts that have designation, has parts that are to do with schools. So eventually we'll want to have a conversation
Yeah.
about, you know, about how to approach those
That
sections.
already came up, that we were like, we have somebody directly to talk
Yeah.
to about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and now we have 2 junior board members too
Yeah.
that can talk about it from the student perspective. So-
Great.
Yeah.
Any other business? Okay, our next meeting's back on Wednesday nights, it's November 6th at 6 p.m.
I likely will not be here.
Thank you very much.
The day after election day?
Oh, it's gonna be rough.
Some sleep.
I'll try to make sure we have a call for you this time by that 24-hour within mark.